Oh, hey, you're not gonna eat that, are you? Do you even know what's in it? There's saturated fat in the bacon and the beef. The avocado is full of monounsaturated fats. Chris, it even has
trans fats.
Don't worry, it's not nearly as bad as it sounds. The truth is, not all fats are created equal. Some are even essential to your diet. But how do you tell the good fats from the bad? One way is to look at their physical state at room temperature. This jar contains avocado oil. As you can see, it's a liquid at room temperature. That's why we call it an oil. Oils are just fats that are liquid at a room temperature. And it appears that they're actually better for you than solid fats, like this bacon grease. Sadly, fats like this lead to artery clogging deposits that can cause some pretty serious problems like heart attack or stroke that you're not likely to get from an avocado. So that's one way to tell a good fat from a bad one, but it leads to an interesting question. Why are some fats liquid at room temperature while others are solid? To answer that, we'll need to look at the molecular level. All fats and oils contain long hydrocarbon chains. These chains are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. The carbons all link together and they can each hold on to 2 hydrogen atoms. This is the sort of chain you'd find in bacon fat. As you can see, all the carbon atoms are holding all the hydrogen atoms they can carry. The chain is totally saturated in hydrogen atoms. That's why we call it a saturated fat. And it's also why saturated fats are solid at room temperature. If you throw a bunch of chains like this together, they're likely to stack rather nicely all by themselves at room temperature. Or in your arteries. In contrast, this hydrocarbon chain from our avocado oil has an irregular shape that prevents it from stacking at room temperature. And that's because it's an unsaturated fat. It's not saturated with hydrogen. As you can see, these 2 carbon atoms are only bonded to 1 hydrogen each. They ended up creating a double bond with each other instead, and that double bond puts a kink in the chain. Sometimes unsaturated fats only have 1 kink. We call those monounsaturated fats. If they have 2 or more kinks, we call them polyunsaturated fats. Avocado oil, which is actually quite good for you, contains both. So, to review, your healthy fats have kinky hydrocarbon chains, while your delicious fats have straight chains that stack easily on top of one another into a solid at room temperature. We've covered the good and the bad. Now it's time to get ugly. The one downside to a good unsaturated fat is that it doesn't have a very long shelf life. The double bonds make it easy for oxygen to button to the chain and make the fat rancid. To solve that problem, food manufacturers sometimes pump a bunch of hydrogen into the fat to replace a double bond and straighten out the chain. That's how we get hydrogenated oils. In the process of hydrogenation, a second reaction can occur simultaneously. Some unsaturated fats can get twisted at the double bond and form trans fats. This is a trans fat. Don't let its orderly zigzag pattern fool you. This hydrocarbon chain is one dangerous mutant. Because these trans fats are mostly straight, they stack well like saturated fats. And it seems they cause even more problems in your body than common saturated fats. They've been linked to diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. There's even evidence that they may contribute to some mental disorders, including dementia. Like I said, this beef only has a trace amount of trans fat, and we don't know for sure if the naturally occurring trans fats have the same harmful effects as their artificial counterparts. But you should watch out for these Frankenstein fats in margarine, microwave popcorn, and many other processed foods.